welcome to the CMO Spotlight, and I'm here with Kelly Cook, who's the EVP, Chief Marketing and IT Officer at David's Bridal.
Be brave enough to suck at something new, because our world as marketers is changing so fast, and you have to have the tenacity, the bravery, the confidence, and the conviction to fall flat on your face to try something new. And I would rather fall on my face than my butt. If I'm falling on my face, at least I'm moving forward. If I'm falling on my butt, I'm going backwards. And I think, as a leader, as you motivate and inspire and set visions to teams, you have to create an environment where it is okay to make mistakes and it's okay to try something new. Fun, focused, and fearless. That's probably, out of all the feedback I get on myself from my team, those are the three words that come to mind, and they're not always good, Like I said, I think every superpower has an evil twin, and I think you have to, manage those things appropriately. These are sort of my personal leadership values, not our brand values, because they're different. But in my view, I have three. One is, don't pee on my boots and tell me it's raining. Be a straight shooter. To me, communication and our ability to communicate effectively together, whether it's risk or reward or strategy or whatever it is, be a straight shooter. The second thing, and this is just my approach, and sometimes it makes people uncomfortable, but I'd rather get the board out of our own eye before we get the splitter out of somebody else's. I would rather approach a problem. What could we have done better? What could our team done better? What process could we have improved, versus pointing the finger across to another department? And then the third thing is, I really, really value servant's heart mentality. How do you make somebody else a hero? How do you make the customer the hero? When we screw up, how do we make it right? How do you build succession plans so employees want to stay? How do you build new projects that employees can be a part of because they have a dream to go off and start their own company someday? How do you help them do that? It's a very sort of giving approach. And to me, I found in my experience that is a very fruitful and rewarding way to lead. It is my favorite quote of all time by Teddy Roosevelt, called The Critic. The man in the arena, marred by blood and dust and sweat. My favorite quote of Winston Churchill is he was in the House of Commons debating this young lady, and she was just getting so mad at Winston Churchill. She was just getting so freaking frustrated with him because he wouldn't acquiesce to her point of view. And she finally said, "Oh my gosh, Winston, if you were my husband, I'd poison your tea." And he looks at her and goes, "If you were my wife, I'd drink it." We did some research and talked to thousands of customers, and we discovered some beautiful things about our customers. One is, over half of them have multi-generations living in their home, which is awesome, right? Yeah. Kids, parents, and grandparents. Two-thirds of them were multicultural, so multiple languages were being spoken in the home. 3, they weren't digitally savvy from the perspective that they didn't buy computers, but they spent their money on phones. They were absolutely digitally savvy. And the fourth thing, and this, even just saying it out loud, it still gives me chills. And this was the thing that we learned that set the path, that changed our trajectory. It was by far at a 90% rate. The parents that we spoke with said the only thing they care about is they want their kids to have a better life than they had. So we set a strategy in place with the ethos that life is ridiculously awesome. We launched a coupon app. We had 620,000 downloads in 60 days without any paid media.
Wow.
We went out and bought off-price name brand clothing so their children could wear Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Supreme, like, and they bought these shirts for $8, Joe, $9, right? And we had, presidents of all of our categories. We had a weird sort of org structure, but the presidents of the categories actually reported into Eddie. But we all sat down on the table and said, what are these like loss leader things that we can do to fulfill that? I want them to have a better life, a name brand, right? We went out and created a shoe that sort of felt a lot, it was inspired a lot by the Air Jordan, but didn't have the price tag, but it made the kids feel like, wow, I've got something that is spectacular. And it was a phenomenal, it was a phenomenal campaign and company strategy, because it reignited the workforce around serving this customer and providing an experience that made them feel like they were giving their kids something different. So it was like those kinds of things were just incredibly exciting for us, and it meant something to all of us, because we were touching on something that was such a higher moral effort, which was to give them something that they didn't have, and give that to their children.